Hello everyone, Darius Skybound here, and today we're covering the changes to crafters and gatherers in the new 5.2 patch. So here's the quick lowdown on what's going on. Crafters have been improved throughout the board, everything's just better, they have some really cool features. Miners and botanists really don't have any changes, but fishermen do, and Fisher really does have some really cool new features that makes it a lot more fun to play. So anyways, let's get started on talking about those features with crafters first. So first up, crafting has actually gotten some new moves here. We have veneration and groundwork, but if you read their text, you basically see that they're both progress improving buffs. So there's not that much to work with, but it could help you with finishing a craft or setting it up for it's real easy to finish at the very end. So next up, we'll talk about the moves they've actually removed, which is ingenuity and reuse. Now, reuse was a very weird move. You had a chance of getting some materials back, maybe somewhat sorta. If you had some CV to spend on it, maybe sorta, you know, it's just weird. It was really hard to use, and I never got to use its abilities, despite how really tantalizing it looked. So removing it's not that big of a deal. Now, the fact that they removed ingenuity was really hard to understand at first. So I used ingenuity in my rotation, and it was really powerful and a lot better than innovation. So removing it was kind of weird. However, and we'll move on to the next thing here, they've adjusted some moves, one of which was innovation. So innovation now is 50% stronger for the efficiency of touch actions for the next 4 moves. So that means it takes the place of ingenuity, and so you really don't need both moves kind of doing the same thing. So it's a lot better off using innovation in a stronger format to take the place of ingenuity. And we kind of like cut back on some of that move slack and all that stuff. And then we have Inner Quiet, and Inner Quiet no longer has that limiter. It's now able to go above 3,000. Now the limit for it to be at 3,000, that was weird. I don't know why they did that. But at least they finally came back and altered that. Now, on top of all that, they've just basically made crafting easier. Not in the sense of the really high-end stuff for all you difficulty nuts for crafting, but mostly for the lower end, making it a lot easier to craft things that are higher level than you, which only really happens when you're leveling up. So they just made it a lot easier to basically get into the flow of crafting. This will probably help a lot of new crafters come, so it could be very beneficial. Now, another minor change is that when you craft a high-quality item now, you'll actually hear a different sound than before. So the old sound is gone and some new sound, whether just a better sound, the same sound is better, who knows. And now we get down into the major changes for crafting in 5.2, and they are phenomenal. We have a new improved crafting log and the crafting calculator. So let's start with the crafting log. The new crafting log allows you to see an item and see all that makes the item and what is required to make each item. So now you can see exactly the bare minimums if you're crafting from the ground up what materials you need so that you can craft easier without having to forget a single item. This new crafting log looks so cool and really useful. It's going to make it really a lot easier to micromanage the materials needed to craft, and that can be a really tedious part of crafting, and this just makes it a lot easier to get into for new people and just so much simpler for those of us who are veterans with craft. Altogether, I think this is a really cool new feature, and I think every single crafter will benefit and love this. Now, the other major feature that we got with crafting is the crafting calculator, and this is totally cool. This new feature allows you to see what your moves are going to be doing and how it calculates and what is affecting it, so you understand what your craft is going to do, so you can predict the outcome of every single move you do in advance. Now, it doesn't affect the fact that you have to basically plan in advance and stuff and understand the crafting, but for the basic math and knowing if it's going to make enough quality, if it's going to make enough progress, is this going to do too much progress, what's going to happen, you will see it right here, and you will see why it's like that. And that's really going to make it really cool for crafters to kind of understand the system a lot better. I think this new feature really levels the playing field. So basically new crafters or crafters that are not so great at mathematics and advanced thinking, they're going to have a lot easier time and be able to catch up with the advanced crafters that know everything and they're super good at algebra and all this stuff. So I think it really levels the playing field, and that's really nice. And if you're an advanced crafter, it kind of lowers the stress and means you don't have to do math all the time, because, I mean, nobody really wants to do math all the time that much. When I craft, I want to relax, so having a system that makes it a little easier for me is a plus in my book. Now, before we touch on gathering, I have one question to ask everyone here. Have you ever seen a Lalafell viciously murdered by a psychotic carbuncle? I have, and that Lalafell now has an amazing shop. She makes and sells all sorts of delectably adorable plushies and other soft things. She even takes custom orders in case there's something else you want to see made into an adorable plushie. So if you're looking to buy something for yourself or that special someone that's nice, soft, and adorable, visit Sweet Kitty Creations. We now have a promo code with Sweet Kitty, so now it's going to be Worst Arch 17. Worst Arch 17. I think it's supposed to mean Worst Arcanist, but this is made by a Lalafell, and I think she was high on snorting cupcakes at the time. Seriously, we used her room for Sugar Rush, so that should make a little bit of sense. In any case, be sure to visit Sweet Kitty Creations. Sweet Kitty Creations. There's no H in Arcanist. So, when it comes to the new updates to Gathering, it's a little different because Miner and Botanist really weren't touched. The only really thing they get is the whole new Gathering Beast tribe they share with Fisherman, because Fisherman is the star of 5.2. So let's start with the most basic feature added to fishing, and that's a change to the fishing animation when you catch a fish. So now we actually have exclamation points appearing above the head that will make it a lot easier to know when a fish is on the line, because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, and this should really help out for fishers. Now, another minor update for fishers is the inclusion of versatile lures. They're basically just fishing lures that catch a larger range of fish, so you don't have to have so much bait lying around, but they probably won't go for specific fish as well as the basic bait. So it'll probably help out in some degree to remove some of that tackle clutter, because we don't have a tackle box yet, but at least this is something. Now, what I think is probably the biggest update to fishing is really important, but it doesn't affect master fishermen. This is all for new fishers that are below level 50. And that is making patience, powerful hook set, and precision hook set occur at level 15. Now, for those who don't know, these moves are used to get high quality fish as a fisher. They're basically, you activate this move, which makes it very difficult to catch fish. And then based on how the line is tugged and the sound it makes, you guess whether the fish is a powerful type or a precision type. And if it's powerful precision, the deficit to catching the fish is removed, but you have a big bonus to getting a high quality fish. Without this moveset, fishing is kind of boring because you really don't have any influence on high quality fish, and this really helps out a lot. Now, another thing is they reduced the GP cost on it, which means you can do this a lot more often. So they're trying to get fishers to try to make their catches high quality on their own all the time, which is really nice. I love fishing. It's very relaxing and very fun to me, and so as a fisherman, to get to see other people become fishers is really cool, and it really helps out with the new updates they added to Fisher next. The super big update to 5.2 is the inclusion of ocean fishing for fishers. This is really going to help people take up fishing, especially with the updates to patience and hook sets, so I really can't wait to see this. So in ocean fishing, you basically go on a trip with about 1 to 24 people on this wonderful ship that goes through the high seas where you basically just fish for an entire hour. So if you like to fish, this is a great way to basically earn scripts, get a ton of interesting fish. There's probably going to be all sorts of features added to this, and it sounds really exciting and fun for somebody who actually likes fishing like me. And I think this will be really big inclusion to the game that really promotes fishers as a more separate gathering class, because they really haven't gotten that much love. So I'm really excited for ocean fishing, and I think it'll do a lot for fishers and just adding a new facet to the game to have fun in general. So big props to the dev team. I think this was a great idea. So even though that's basically everything from 5.2 as far as crafting and gatherers are concerned, at least for the majority of their basic functions and all the important stuff, there's still a little bit to cover. So in patch 5.21, we're going to get the Ishgardian Restoration update that we're waiting for. So prepare to get to that and get all those bonuses and really cool things for your crafters and all that. And we're also going to get the Diadem. Now the Diadem has been remade solely for gatherers, so it's going to be a gathering paradise where we can basically go get all sorts of items for our crafts. Then later in 5.25, we're going to get the Sky Steel tools. It's basically like relic weapon for crafters, so that'll be really cool. And finally, just to cover a little bit of the rumor mill. Now, a while back, I heard that there was going to be an additional bit of conditions for crafts, for like the high-level crafts. So we have normally poor, excellent, and good. Now, I heard there might be additional effects added randomly at certain crafts at higher levels. So it might come in this patch, it might not have been expectedly talked about or something. Or maybe we'll get it in 5.21 or 5.25 or something with different crafts as they come out. But I do think that we're going to get the new conditions at some point, so be prepared for that to appear in the high-level crafts at some point. Well, that about covers all the updates we have to crafters and gatherers in the new 5.2 patch. I'm actually feeling pretty good about these updates, and I'm really excited to see some of the changes we had to fishermen, as well as those really cool systems to crafters. And we still have a lot of really cool features coming in the new updates in 5.21, 5.25. Before 5.3, we're going to have a lot of cool stuff, so who knows where even the future holds for crafters and gatherers. Anyways, we're getting a lot of love for these classes, and that is really cool to me. But anyways, that about wraps up this video. So as always, this is Darius Skybound, signing out. Why the hell would you choose worst arch? There is no H in Arcanist. Seriously, what is wrong with her? I mean, we could basically have done something else. I mean, we could have talked about Carbuncle or something else. Maybe talk about Candy or Giant Cake, but no, worst arch. Looks like worst arch, worst arch, worst arch. Like something with starch or like Worcestershire sauce or something. I don't know what the heck is wrong with her.